So pretty. I love this dress from Anthony. Gorgeous.
Can you believe the price? Under $40.
So pretty.
I know. I'm like, so you're choosing to lose money on your today's special, I see.
I'm gonna go shopping.
Oh my goodness. Let's talk about the EcoFlow. Justin, am I okay to come here for it? Yes?
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
okay, lovely. The EcoFlow is a name that is really synonymous now with portable power, with emergency power. It's the name that we go to here. I mean, they have revolutionized what a generator can be. It's no longer the giant thing on the side of your house or the thing that has to use gas or the dangers of that within your home. But now the EcoFlow RIVER 3. For the first time is the newest edition, and look at the size. By the way, it is drop rated. You can drop it from 3 feet and it's gonna be fine. That is really cool, just because of who I am. Look at the size. It's closer to the size of like a VCR or a portable speaker. That means you'll actually use it more. So when you're taking something of that size around with you, it is, you know, just the same as a little portable speaker, and you will have that portable power. We have a free shipping and 5 flex available on our EcoFlow, but if you want to grab the whole power station, that means you're going to get the backpack. That means you're going to get the solar panels. Solar panels are fantastic, and I think they're a must-have. Here's why. When I lost power last fall, my EcoFlow did great for the first, day or so, and then after I had used it, I needed more power. And our power didn't come back for at least another week. But God was in business, so we were in business. The sun came out, I could charge my EcoFlow with my solar panels, and it allowed me to have limitless power for an unlimited amount of time. That is why everyone is gravitating towards the full set. This will include, again, the bag and the solar panel. Our original price was $419 for these 3 pieces. Today, $229.99. With our 5 flex and free shipping, you're gonna get all 3 of these sent to you for a $46 payment. If you do decide you just want the power station, maybe you already have your solar panels, that price was around $240. We've brought it down to $159.99. Again, free shipping, 5 flex, $32 flex payment. But if you would like even the extra solar panels, if you know you're gonna use the backpack, and even the backpack alone, it looks like a $200 backpack, this is the way to do it with our full set. Because if you are ever in a situation like I was last fall, and you know the storm is coming, I had the opportunity to set up my living room with my parents, with my sister, with myself, my husband, and my daughter, and we knew that Milton was coming. We knew that Helene was coming. And here's what's unbelievable. My daughter didn't even know that the power went out. She's very scared of the dark. We were very concerned about what was going to happen when that power went out. But we had our lights already plugged into our EcoFlow. It told us exactly how much power we would have, how many hours we would have with those lights. We knew we were good to go. And the second the power went out and we pressed one button, it was a dream. It was comfort, it was reliability, and it was something that I would have spent 10 times the price for. But here at HSN, we have the exclusive deals where you can get that same reliability home for $46 or $32 if you just choose the generator. Let's bring Justin Hyatt in today. Justin, it's so small that now people are actually gonna take it to the camping, to the backpacking, to the, what was it, the tailgating?
If it ends in an ing, they're taking it with them. But this is by far one of the most popular and well-received EcoFlows I think that we've had in recent memories. I think it's the perfect entry point as just far as like that just good value and price. It's the size. I love the fact that you're also getting the backpack. The backpack in and of itself is $70 by itself. You know, if you've been looking for just that in a pinch power, wherever it might be, as you said, tailgating, coffeeing, maybe we can go to the coffee shop, wherever it might be, you're wanting to have something that's simple and easy. This is the lightest weight power station that we offer from EcoFlow. It's the most affordable. You mentioned it, Natasha. It's the first time that I can say it's actually drop-proof, so I was trying to think of a name for the clumsy Christies out there. I don't even know if that even really truly exists, but if you do have a little bit of butterfingers, you don't have to worry. This has actually been drop tested by about 3 feet up. Also, first time I can not only mention drop proof, but also kind of fireproof. This can be within about 174 degrees. So if you leave it in a car, if you leave it kind of close to a fire, not that if you, of course, you get what I'm saying, but also it's IPX54 rated. So that means it's dust proof, it's fairly waterproof as well. So this is meant to be tossed around at the campground, at the tailgate, even if it's for just finding that outlet in the home, in the kitchen, and then maybe taking the kitchen with you out to that campground or to the patio or to the balcony, wherever it might be. But I love about the manageability aspect of this being under 8 pounds. This is now something that you are going to take with you in more ways than one. So yeah, carry it with you over the river and through the woods. Wherever it might be. And then, yes, of course, that's you get to the top of the mountain, then that's where you drop it, right? But now think of those simple ways that you can charge. You don't drop it at the bottom of the mountain, you drop it when you're at the top.
You're the world's greatest backpacker,
Exactly.
but you can't hold anything in your
Well, but what he should do is he should have put it in his backpack.
That's true.
Love that.
That's true.
And then one of the really great things is, and this is the first time ever, and by the way, we just launched this just 2 days ago, and I just saw that we've sold nearly 2,000 of them, is that right here, not only do you get the backpack, but it fits the cutest, smallest little solar panel that we've ever done. This is that 45-watt solar panel. It looks like I've got a book in my hand, but this is kind of a book of power. This is where you are going to now actually use this solar panel to have infinite amount of sun and power for your solar panel and for your power station. So you can go ahead and charge up your power station anywhere you are, at the campground, at the tailgate, or like you said, maybe it is at the patio or the balcony, wherever you might, you might be at that time.
Yeah.
I love it. You have every single thing that you need all in one.
And we're finding more and more things today are using different technologies. Like I found when I plugged in one thing, it would show me, hey, you have 24 hours on that. And then I would say, well, let me try if I plug in that light. And it said, you have 99 hours. And I said, oh, goodness. So there's a lot of power conserving LED light bulbs and string lights and all of that stuff today that's on the market more than ever. What I realized was if I just had one EcoFlow, I knew the amount of time I had. I know how much I have with that. I know how much I have maybe, whether it is the light or maybe it's the fans during the day and the lights during the night. But either way, if this is the one item that you have in your earthquake preparation, or it's in the hurricane prep, it's in the, we've had, quite frankly, I moved from LA to here and we've seen it all just about. And there's no signs of it stopping. So at this point, don't be the one who's in the panic, who's saying, I would love to be able to stay in my home. I'm safe in my home. I just don't have the ability to run the fan or to run the lights. So I have to go somewhere else and find other shelter. This is how you find that. And yet, in the portability, the smallest size we've ever seen means it's going to be perfect for that camping experience, for that fun party experience, maybe for, maybe it's just the kids' game and it's getting later at night and it's time to go inside, not anymore. Now you have light, now you have power.
Yeah, well, and what does that mean to you? I mean, I think about all the different things that we present here at HSN when it comes to even just those security lights, indoors, outdoors. Why be in the dark? And that means figuratively as well, not only literally, where you don't need to be in a position anymore where you don't have power, where you feel vulnerable. And it always does come down to when do you make that decision? When do you get prepared? The best time to get prepared is always now. We're already, unfortunately, back in hurricane season as of June 1st. And I think for a lot of us, and you were just mentioning it, we feel like we just got out of it. And if you live in an area in the country or in the world, as nearly 4.5 million EcoFlow customers do, you have to consider, well, year after year, I'm gonna have to deal with hurricanes. How am I gonna deal with it?
Yes.
I have to consider a plan. This has become the #1 go-to plan at HSN. The #1 power station brand here at HSN is EcoFlow. Beyond that, EcoFlow is the #1 power station brand in the United States, and we launched EcoFlow right here at HSN 7 years ago.
Wow.
I believe this has become actually now EcoFlow month, the month of June, and it's because this is the time to get prepared. So we wanted to kick it off with something that I think everybody can truly get their hands on. Something that weighs, again, only 8 pounds. This also has brand new technology. So you were just talking about lights.
Yep.
we have done something that's a proprietary technology that has only existed now in our River 3 model, where if you have low wattage appliances like a fan, like a light, for instance, like this light only pulls roughly about 4 watts. That means instead of this only running for maybe 12 hours, it'll run for 24 hours, whereas the competition might only be 16 to 15 hours. And you can see right there, I've got the light on and it's telling me in real time, I've got 2 different things plugged in. It's showing me the actual amount of hours, and then it's showing me the wattage. So talk about simplicity as well. That's one of the things that, you know, when you kind of break into an industry or create an industry of, you know, power stations, you kind of become an interrupter of what backup power was, of gas and propane. But if it wasn't easy, nobody would do it. I love the fact it is simple and it's safe to use inside your home. And by the way, it's whisper quiet. They call it kind of library silence, where 20 decibels. So you can run this by your bed. And speaking of the number 20, there's also what we call an uninterrupted power source. So in 20 milliseconds, if you had, for instance, a desktop computer plugged into it, or a CPAP machine, or any medical device plugged into it, 20 milliseconds, uninterrupted power, it'll immediately continue to power whatever was plugged in. So another great way, we talk about just versatility and all the different ways you can use it.
Yes.
Now not only just have the freedom of all the different places in the house, but all the different ideas of how you can use it as well.
I want you to explain something to me. You said 20 milliseconds of uninterrupted power. What do you mean by that? So once you plug it in, I need you to explain that to me a little bit more. What did you mean by that?
Yeah, I understand. Sometimes I could just
well, because I'm
spew
shopping.
things
The
out.
thing is, I'm shopping. I have one, my parents have one. But I love the idea of having a slightly smaller one because, you know, mine is great. I love that I was able to know ahead of time, based on what it was I was going to have plugged in, I was able to know how much time I would have with that. That's the kind of peace of mind, rest assuredness that you really don't get with just kind of hoping, right? Definitely don't get it with anything gas. You definitely don't get it with other competitors. I knew exactly how long I'd have with this or with that. You know, now my mother's using a CPAP each night. That would be important to have for that too. And you can always test it ahead of time. But I would love to have a smaller one just to have it for the secondary room or something else, so that you can maybe have one in my daughter's bedroom so she doesn't have to live in the panic during that time. And that's why I'm really curious, because to me, a $32 flex payment is, that's within my budget. I can do that with the free shipping. I love the added solar panel for $46. Remember, if you do opt for the whole set, it's a $46 flex payment. That includes the solar panel and the bag. I know those solar panels were so clutch during the hurricane, really made a difference. And that's why I'm really trying to learn how to use it. You get it home, you can plug it in, you have it charged, that's great. Have it pre-charged, that's important before, you know, as soon as you get it home, charge it up. But then after that, do I have to do something specific when I'm plugging new items into it, or what's the 20 millisecond rule? So
we'll stick with the 20 millisecond rule. So what does that mean? So for instance, for anybody who has it at home, maybe let's just say you have a home office. What you'll do is you'll plug the EcoFlow into the wall.
Yes.
And then you'll have your desktop computer plugged into your EcoFlow.
Okay.
Okay, so as soon as you were to lose power at home, that 20 millisecond switchover, that uninterrupted power, your EcoFlow is going to recognize that you lost power at home. And then this is going to continue in 20 milliseconds to continue to power anything that you have plugged into it.
I understand. There's only a 20 millisecond break between the power in the wall ending and the power going out of the EcoFlow instead?
Exactly. So in order to be uninterrupted power, it has to be 20 milliseconds. We used to have some that were 30 milliseconds. That switchover would be a kind of emergency power source, an EPS. In order to be true uninterrupted, you have to be within the 20 millisecond, which is what this is.
So like a computer won't shut down.
Exactly. So I think great for people who have it in any environment in their home where they're wanting to make sure that, you know, for instance, a fish tank or a refrigerator. Yes, you can plug your refrigerator into this, or even like the desktop computer or your Wi-Fi, all the televisions, electronics. One of the things that you touched on as well, which is I want you to consider, a lot of people have come, maybe not even made their first purchase for EcoFlow today, but have actually picked up their second or third. Because I love that, because we offer so many different varieties of EcoFlows, especially with sizes. But you were just saying some that are $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Those are full home backup. We love them. I love them. I can't live without them. But I do love having the small one because this allows me to have ways to charge other smaller appliances and then prioritize, and then also the freedom to say, hey, I can just pick this up and then take it with me to the pickleball court, or it's summertime, so there's a lot of summer sports out there. For the kids, as the grandparent, want to go enjoy it, but I don't want to be out there sweating the whole entire time. Take this with you and then bring a fan with you.
Right.
And now stay cool while you're out at that football field, the soccer field, the baseball stands, wherever it might be.
And really, I thought I had the smaller EcoFlow, but it was 3 times this cost. So this is a really good price for an EcoFlow. I mean, when we're talking, technically it would be the $420. I think our price today is pretty impressive. We're almost 50% off on this full set. But if you're just getting the power station, $240, that's still half the cost of what I had before as my lowest price. So I'm looking at this and going, okay, this is the one I want for the office. It's the one that maybe you want for those medical devices, or the ones that you say, I'm gonna always know I have it to take with me. Maybe it's in that other bedroom, the one that you can keep in your bedroom overnight to keep the fan going when the power goes out. Now it's a price point at $32 for a flex pay to get it home, where you don't have to be making those decisions on which room is going to stay functioning during the blackouts.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think about that a lot because often when people are getting multiple EcoFlows, it's because they have sub-level homes. So they want to think, well, I've got maybe a larger power station for inside my kitchen.
Yeah.
But then what about upstairs?
Right.
Right. So now upstairs I can have another EcoFlow up there,
right,
where then I can use this for my phones. I can use it for my electronics like our laptop. I know we got that one coming up. For the fan right by the bed. And that's why I talk about this being 20 decibels when it runs, is because you will put this by your bed. So when you are out of power for longer than maybe you've considered being out of power, now you have a way to charge your phone, to have a light by your bed, to have that fan by your bed, to have a way to maybe even run that CPAP machine right by your bed. But instead of thinking, well, how loud is this going to be while it's running? This is going to be whisper quiet. You're either going to hear the person snoring next to you, or maybe you're the snorer, but you also have that CPAP machine, which we'll show you in a second. But I love having freedom. That's what this really, truly represents, but you're getting it from the #1 brand. And a lot of brands out there, we really kind of were the pioneer and continue to be the pioneer. What's really exciting, I think, about the River 3 is that this is the latest and greatest that we have. I did speak to the EcoFlow team yesterday. They're telling me there's a very maybe possible chance that this might be the only time. Now, this isn't only airing, but I think this month might be the only time for the rest of the year you might see the River series.
Ooh.
So something to consider, especially if you're thinking about it,
Yes,
just talking with them. We do have, again, multiple other larger power stations, but this might be the only time this month that you'll be able to pick up the River.
And it's not overwhelming. You know, it's very user friendly. All you have to do is plug it in to charge it, just like you would plug in any, battery pack or anything else that doesn't use a bunch of cords and cables and symbols that I don't understand. And trust me, if there was anything beyond the basics, I wouldn't understand it, as Justin knows very well about me. But then you can also just plug in your 3-prong or your 2 prongs. You can plug whatever you need to plug into it, and now that thing has power. Maybe it's the USB. Which USB ports does this one include? Because sometimes you don't have the prongs to plug in. Can I plug something in straight with a USB cord?
Yeah, and you actually just read my mind. So when we come back, I love the drop video here. It's the first time, by the way, we're able to even say, yes, you can drop this from about 3 feet up. And it is also IPX54, which I think is huge. It is an investment, so knowing that you got something that's still very rugged,
That's
you
good,
have
though.
that.
You might be grabbing it in the dark. You might not have expected the blackout, and you're reaching for it in the dark, and you stumble and you drop it. Who knows?
Well, I think the dad in the garage who's doing it, whatever he's doing and tinkering around with the car, and then maybe in the kitchen. You know, if you live in a home where there aren't a lot of outlets, all of a sudden you got all of the different things on your hand while you're in the kitchen, and then you just never know. So I like just having that freedom of not having to worry about babying this, whether it's heat, whether it's water, whether it's dust, whatever it might be. Just speaking of ports, let's start from the very beginning. So even just turning it on is simple. So you've got this little button right here, which is your just little tiny power button, right? So I'm just gonna flip that on and then turn it on again, and now you just turned on your whole entire power station. So what are all of these different ports? Right here, we got a 2-prong AC outlet. Then we've got our 3-prong AC outlet. We do have 2 fast charging USB-A, and right here in the middle is a USB-C. Then we've got that DC port right here. You had asked kind of what else do we have to do after we plug it in? So you see this button right here?
Yep.
I'm just gonna push that button, and what I did was I just turned on these AC outlets. It's to kind of help you control power flow.
Okay.
Then what about charging it? And this is one of the greatest things also is charging your power station. We talk about options. Now when you plug this into the wall, of course you get all the different cables included. It takes just an hour.
No.
That's it, 1 hour to charge this. Let me tell you what.
That is it, I'm sold.
I have done
Mine
some.
took like 4 hours.
I've done offline shoots
Yeah.
where I'm like, oh, totally forgot to plug this in and charge it.
Yeah.
And then in a pinch. But I also think, right, like you said, some will take 4 hours, 5 hours.
Yes.
How long does your phone take to charge nowadays?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So now in an hour, you can charge this up, and this will run your refrigerator. This will charge your phone multiple times over, your laptops, your MacBook Pros. I also want to talk about that little orange port that we got here. That's where you're also going to be using it for your DC adapter. So if you're driving, you're going on any of those summer road trips this summer, maybe, again, next summer and the summer after that, and I'll explain why I mean multiple years over and over. But that orange port's where you're going to use that for your DC adapter and for your solar panel. But one step further, and just talking about the pure battery that's inside of here, it's what we call an LFP battery.
Okay.
And this is important because, again, when we think about getting the latest and greatest and why do we want the latest and greatest, it means that you're getting the best battery technology that's on the market right now.
Wow.
So what would typically happen with power stations, after about 300 life cycles, the battery wouldn't charge all the way from 0 to 100%, maybe 0 to 80%.
Okay.
It would take you 10 years before you ever experience that because this has 3,000 life cycles. So if you were to deplete this and recharge it every day, it would take you 10 years before you ever had to deal with that. So it's not a 2-year warranty like it used to be, Natasha, and now it's 5 years.
Oh my goodness, you could fully charge and fully deplete for 10 years before the battery lost any efficiency?
So think about, that's the 10 summers, that's the 10 winters.
This is going above and beyond.
Right.
I mean, they're gonna put their other ones out of business. That's the problem because this is so convenient.
Yeah.
I wanna clarify something you said, and I'm sorry if my questions are a little rudimentary here, but you mentioned the car port on the side, how you charge your EcoFlow when you get it home. It comes with the cords.
Yeah.
You can plug in the actual cord and plug it into the wall, which is great. But if you're in a situation where you don't have the power of a wall outlet, that's when maybe you would use the other cord that would then plug into the solar panels, giving you that power. Or that's the one that could then plug into a car outlet, then you could get power from your car itself.
Exactly. So let's talk about all the different ways you can charge this, right? So from the solar panel, right? So if you're getting the bundle, which the majority of you are, and by the way, I want to call one thing out.
Yeah.
Even if you shopped around for this, you won't find this bundle because it's completely exclusive.
It's amazing.
So not really shoppable. You can find the power station with the solar panel together, but even that with the bag that we have is even better value. Just to go back here, talking about options. This is for when you plug it into the wall, but then you can also plug it into a generator, right? So we're not saying, well, just get rid of your generators. It's for all the people who can't own a generator also, right? If it's for just the physical aspect of, you know, owning a generator, because it does take a lot. Generators are heavy, even getting them running, getting them started, maintaining them. You can still, though, if you have one of those generators, you can use it to charge this up. But AC outlet, so you can plug it into a wall or a generator.
Okay.
So that's 2 different ways,
It's great
right?
for apartments.
Exactly, perfect. And then for this orange port, so imagine we talk about in the pinch moment. You're going on a road trip, totally forgot to charge this. You want it to be charged up by the time you get to the campground, by the time you get to the tailgate, by the time you get to the concert, whatever it might be. Plug it into the car while you're driving, and then it's going to charge while you're doing that. Then, while you're out tailgating, while you're out at the campground, while you're walking through the forest, like the gentleman in the video is, wherever it might be, because it's power on the go, true freedom of power, now use that solar panel to charge it wherever you are in the world, in the country. So I love the freedom and options that this gives you, that with a generator, you're out of gas, you don't have any more options. This is just an additional, I always liken it to, if you get a boat, I want 2 outboards. If I have an airplane, I want 2 engines, right? The chances of something happening, it's Murphy's Law. Always have a backup, always have a fail-safe. And I just like having that additional option for everything, especially when it comes to backup power.
And it's using my car battery, so if I have a gas power car or an electric car, are there cars that I couldn't use this to charge?
No, and actually, speaking of car batteries,
Yeah.
this one particular doesn't do it. But some of our EcoFlows, people use to charge their electric vehicles, right? So there's talking about even further with options. You know, we have a lot of different power stations when it comes to EcoFlow. It's because everybody's different. Everybody has a different use case.
Yeah.
But we're all in the need of the same exact thing at the very bottom line and very basic, which is we all need power.
Yep.
At some point in time, we're gonna be without it. And there's nothing worse than that feeling of not having power, feeling helpless, and always then falling back and saying, I wish I did this.
Yes.
So we always say be proactive, make a decision, even if this is just something for just for fun. That's what you're gonna love about this. But not a lot of things that you can even invest in that's for fun and then, well, but you know, if something does happen, well, then at least we also have that at home too.
It's the best marriage of fun and responsible that you're going to find. There's a lot of fun involved in being able to take the charge, the lights, the fan, the music, wherever you're going that doesn't have power. But to know that you have that power charged up in 1 hour, is that from 0 to 100?
0 to 100.
Real quick. 0 to 100 in 1 hour is very, very impressive on how to charge this. But then once you have that charged, you're going to have, I think you said 3,000 uses before the battery ever starts to deplete in its efficiency, which is very impressive. The most important ones in case of the blackout, and this is something that sadly a lot of us learn for the first time, you know, in practice, is it's either you need the fan, you need something to cool you off during the day, or you need the lights at night, and then you need something that will be charging your phones, your devices, maybe even plugging in your laptop. If you really want to do it, a lot of people I've seen during tornado watches or this or that, they'll take their EcoFlow into a bathroom and they'll have a TV plugged into it and have their phones plugged into it. This is the size that you'll be able to move with you wherever you go, that 8 pounds, or if you are using one in the kitchen and you know you need to use that one for that, now you have the one for all of your devices in the room where you're sitting during the day. This is how we get through the hardest moments without making them the hardest moments. They don't have to be that hard. They don't have to be the trauma of not having the power, of not having the comfort of the fans or the lights. They don't have to be the toddler screaming because it got black all at once. This is how you take that away, and it's how you take it away for about $30 or $40 on a flex pay. Remember the price of this whole set. The set includes the solar panels and the bag. It's well over $400, and today it's at $229. Divide that by 5. Everyone's going to get 5 flex payments. Your HSN card holders will get 6, but you don't even have to be using an HSN card to get your 5 flex pay. It's not going to be layaway. So you'll pay that $46 payment. We will ship you the solar panel. We'll ship you the bag. We'll ship you your new EcoFlow with all of the cords. And you will know right away, I think the moment you place this order will be the moment you start feeling more prepared. The moment you make the call will be the moment you start feeling like the better mom, husband, dad, grandma, knowing that, yes, I'm doing the right thing for me and for my loved ones. $32 if you just want the EcoFlow, that's fantastic too, still a great price. But I will tell you, the whole set is outselling the single EcoFlow 2 to 1 because you're looking at almost half off of something that could really be the difference, not just between comfort and discomfort, but life and death. This is the most important purchase that I ever made since starting here at HSN. I think you're going to find yourself pleasantly surprised by the ease of use and finally by the size itself being 8 pounds. It really is going to change the game. Item number is 087326 if you want to take a look at your 2 options there, but I know a lot of you are grabbing the solar panel because, again, I like to say if God's in business, you're in business. You may only hope that that power is going to be out for, 24 hours or 12 hours. Fingers crossed. But lately, I've found with my friends in Los Angeles, I've found here, it's days. Sometimes it's weeks. And you're not going to be counting down going, oh my gosh, I'm running out of battery. I'm running out of gas. The gas line is too long. They shut down the gas station. How do I get the generator going? If there is sun, by the way, even if it was a little cloudy, it was cloudy last time after the hurricane. I'm just speaking for myself. I'm not making any claims here. We were still charging using that solar panel when it was in a sunny day, I got nervous. I said, oh my goodness, will we even get power? It was working great. So this is how you know if God's in business the next day, you are in business getting your power, but you have to grab that full set, including the solar panel and the bag, in order to get that solar panel included as well. This solar panel is a really nice size too, Justin.
Well, it's a great size. I think, again, we talk about just convenience, right? We can go from being over in the little kind of lounge area of kind of our little home office area, wherever it might be, to then relaxing in the area that we should feel relaxed, where we should get a good night's sleep, in the bedroom. Using this for a CPAP machine like we have here, for medical devices. Now, you know, again, is there backup for whole home that we offer? Absolutely. I love this one for the freedom and convenience that you get. It's the most affordable one that we offer. It's the newest one that we've ever put on the market right now for you. That's well under $200, plus the solar panel and the backpack. The use of having a CPAP machine for you, as you know, it's a $700 CPAP machine. If this was to give you at least one night's sleep, it would be worth it for every single penny that you spent, and it will. And you don't have to guess, because as soon as you plug it in to your power station, it's gonna tell you exactly how long it's going to run anything. Your lights, your fans, your phones, your laptops. We got a great laptop, I know, coming up in just a second, plus the CPAP machine. Let's see. This is saying right now, I've got at least 4 hours that I can run my CPAP machine. If it was just 4 hours, it would be worth it. If it's the fan, if it's the light, and again, remember, it's gonna tell me exactly how long, and it'll basically calculate everything. So it's gonna show me my wattage, then it's gonna show me my percentage, it's gonna convert into hours, exactly how long I can run anything for. So if it's by the bed, if it's in the bedroom, if it's in the tent, if it's in the car, wherever you know and feel like you can take power with you, or wherever you're thinking about taking power with you, now you can. But size, manageability has always been possibly something that has maybe had you consider which one is for me. This one weighs less than 8 pounds. You can drop this from 3 feet high. So if you are somebody who is a little clumsy, I'm not pointing any fingers.
I spilled my coffee on myself 3 minutes ago.
I'm not pointing any fingers at anybody. Did you spill your coffee today?
It's all over the dress, but you can't tell because this print is fantastic.
And another reason to get a good print, because you won't see the stains.
Oh my goodness. We are very busy on the lines right now, and I know we're not going to see this again today. I don't want you to remember this presentation when it's too late. I don't want you to get that tornado warning or to get that hurricane warning.